Asanteni sana, and thank you very much for your comments and your words of encouragement. To the people of Kenya, this is a momentous occasion for our country. Our politics and our elections have never failed to be emotive, engaging, and dramatic. The most recent installment, however, showcased our most exemplary democratic performance. This day comes on the back of a peaceful election following an intense issue-based campaign in which major coalitions made up of strong political parties canvassed their agenda and took it for examination by the people of Kenya. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission stewarded a transparent and credible election whose result faithfully reflects the democratic will of the people of Kenya. Dissatisfied parties exercise their right to petition before the Supreme Court, whose proceedings and determination not only gave comfort to the doubtful, but also restored faith in our electoral and judicial institutions. Many countries aspire to have moments like this, and we as Kenyans should not take ours for granted. This is the third election under the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and the second peaceful transition. We have had a robust conversation about this moment and what it demands of us, and we have sought to answer the question whether this is a constitutional moment or an economic moment. In this process, we have demonstrated the maturity of our democracy, the robustness of our institutions, and the resilience of the Kenyan people. My competitors and I mobilized vigorously to offer the citizens of Kenya the most appealing agenda as well as the best roadmap to achieving it. I remain firm in the conviction that all sides in the last election did their best to present a pathway to actualize the people's aspirations. The just concluded election was a choice between competing ideas towards the Kenya we want. Elections and democracy entail unifying competition, not divisive rivalry. The performance of our security services, the performance of the IEBC and the judiciary was put to severe test. By and large, these institutions lived up to our expectations. We can only aspire to do better in future, and I give my undertaking that my administration shall work to ensure that the bar is raised even higher for the next general elections. A significant dividend of our electoral and democratic process is the tremendous achievement we made in breaking the glass ceiling by enhancing the participation of women in leadership. 7 women were elected as governors, up from 3 in the last election. 29 women were elected as members of the National Assembly, up from 23 in 2017. 7 women deputy governors and 3 women senators were elected as well. It is very clear that this election had many winners, far exceeding those who were actually elected. By far, the largest winners of this election is the people of Kenya. We have done well as a nation. We have blazed the trail in an increasingly challenging environment where democracy is consistently on trial. We have come a long way in our nation's journey to freedom, and going by our most recent performance in these elections, we conclude in confidence that we are almost home. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to single out the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission for special commendation for the courage to do the right thing under exceptionally challenging circumstances. As an institution, they have set a new standard in public service that is uncompromising, professional, and exemplary, while raising the bar of integrity of our public officials and public institutions. It is appropriate to single out for special mention the chair of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, for standing firm, resisting bribery, resisting intimidation, and resisting blackmail, and doing the right thing. It is also appropriate to celebrate our judiciary for sustaining its tradition of boldly giving much-needed guidance, especially in allaying post-election anxieties and resolving grievances in a sensitive, credible, and authoritative manner. Judiciary's articulation of the aspirations and standards enshrined in the Constitution has deepened our democracy and institutionalized our rule of law. Our judiciary is now, without a doubt, Kenya's biggest constitutional dividend. The judiciary has successfully arbitrated 3 election disputes and defended the nation on our Constitution. Our judiciary has demonstrated transparency in its proceedings and decision-making, thereby consolidating its independence, authority, and legitimacy. I also take this opportunity to say a special word of appreciation to our security services for a commendable job at a critical moment in our nation. Their services and heroic sacrifices they have made beyond the call of duty has kept our nation safe. I am aware that our uniformed services effectively resisted concerted attempts to foment unrest and subvert the will of the people. My special commendation also goes to all our candidates who contested various positions. Their participation enhanced competition and enriched public debate that underpins democratic choice. Special recognition goes to my worthy competitor and friend, the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, and his running mate, the Honorable Martha Wangari Karua, and all the other candidates who mounted a vigorous and determined campaign. I assure them that their supporters will be for tirelessly. Sorry. Very good. Very good. Our special gratitude also goes to millions of Kenyans in the Hustler movement for tirelessly mobilizing for the campaign and executing a historic revolutionary feat, perhaps as great as the daring exploits of our legendary freedom fighters. This includes all our campaign volunteers, agents, mobilizers, and those who contributed whatever they could in whatever form to keep the movement going. I also appreciate our religious community and institutions for their support, their prayers, and encouragement. I commend the church in particular, and in equal measure the Islamic religious leadership for their considerable support to us and our campaign. We also appreciate them for continuously exploring avenues for interfaith understanding and solidarity, which have gone a long way to enhance tolerance and cohesion in Kenya. Faith-based institutions continue to play a noble and indispensable role in our communities, and I commit that we will enhance our partnership, build on our collaboration, and enhance our support to them. At this juncture, it is important for me to speak directly to the youth, and especially those who participated in one way or another in the election campaigns. I commend you for resisting pressure and enticement to be misused as agents of conflict and disruption during the electioneering period. I also congratulate those who went out to seek various roles within campaigns and election, thus playing their part in keeping Kenya's democracy robust. Even if your candidate did not win, your participation in the activities of our political parties, campaigns, and elections is the beginning of political internship. My political journey similarly began as a young campaign volunteer fresh out of university in 1992. Your experience and lessons learned should form the basis for your leadership journey going into the future. We have all therefore emerged out of this contest stronger, more united, and alive to the issues that are common to all of us. We should remain conscious that we have all been elected to work together in ensuring that our children go to school, our people have food and decent health care, and our young people have jobs, and our workers have dignified livelihoods. For we believe strongly that every hustle matters. Dreams and ambitions live in the hearts of Kenyans who struggle daily against daunting odds, often with nothing except stubborn hope. Some succeed, others fail, while others also do not even get a decent chance. Before the nation and the world today, I stand with great humility and profound joy as a living testimony that with faith in God, willingness to work hard, and a commitment to a vision, dreams can become reality in the fullness of time. I promise to throw open every door of opportunity and to keep every door open until success stories become the norm rather than the exception, and urge all other leaders to do the same so that we can together expand opportunity and chance for many of our citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, we should consolidate our success in the just concluded elections and enhance the capacity and performance of our governance institutions. The innovative deployment of technology to secure election results has been the Electoral Commission's pioneering breakthrough. Going forward, we will support the IEBC's institutional capacity so as to expand the deployment of technology to cover all elections, from those of MCA to those of the President. I also believe that there is tremendous opportunity for IEBC to support electoral processes in our political parties as part of the broader democratic development. To consolidate the place of the judiciary in our constitutional and democratic dispensation, while we cement the place of Kenya as a country anchored on democracy and the rule of law. Our campaign for financial independence of the judiciary has paid off with the implementation of the Judiciary Fund on July 1 this year. My administration will scale up the budgetary allocation to the judiciary by an additional 3 billion shillings annually for the next 5 years. These resources will support the bottom-up scaling of justice by increasing the number of small claims courts from the current 25 to 100. We will also work with the judiciary to build high courts in the remaining 7 counties and magistrates courts in the remaining 123 sub-counties. Will empower the judiciary to adjudicate and expeditiously conclude corruption cases, commercial disputes, and all other matters, thereby enhancing access to justice and efficiency in our judiciary. To further demonstrate my commitment to the independence of the judiciary, this afternoon I will appoint the 6 judges already nominated for appointment to the Court of Appeal, which was done 3 years ago by the Judicial Service Commission. And tomorrow I shall preside over their swearing in so that they can get on with the business of serving the people of Kenya. As required by Article 245 of the Constitution, the Inspector General of Police is mandated to exercise independent command over the National Police Service. The service's operational autonomy, however, has been undermined by the continued financial dependence on the office of the President. This situation is going to change. As I address you, one moment. Good. There we are. As I address you, I have instructed that the instruments conferring financial autonomy to the National Police Service by transferring their budget from the Office of the President and designating the Inspector General as the accounting officer be placed on my desk for signature this afternoon. Financial independence of the police will give impetus to the fight against corruption and end the political weaponization of the criminal justice system, an undertaking I made to the people of Kenya. I understand. I assure all public officers that my administration will respect their professional service, and no public servant, even chiefs and their assistants, will be required to run political errands for any political party or formation. Ladies and gentlemen, we anchored our campaign on the platform of the economy premise on job creation and the well-being of the people of Kenya, and we have been working continuously on the measures to bring down the cost of living. Our people are confronted daily with increasingly unaffordable prices, especially food and transport. In our economic forums across the country, during the campaign, citizens consistently shared their anxiety, their pain, and their fury on this matter. It therefore calls on us for urgent and decisive resolution. The interventions in place have not borne any fruit. On fuel subsidy alone, the taxpayers have spent a whopping 144 billion, 60 billion in the last 4 months alone. If the subsidy continues to the end of the financial year, it will cost taxpayers 280 billion, equivalent to the election, a program that cobbled up 7 billion in 1 month. In addition to being very costly, consumption subsidy interventions are prone to abuse. They distort markets and create uncertainty, including artificial shortages of the very products they seek to subsidize. The cost of living challenges are related in our respectful submission to production. Our strategy to bring down the cost of living is predicated on empowering producers. The forecast for maize harvest this year is below 30 million bags against a normal production of 40 million bags. The main cause of the decline in production is the high cost of farm inputs. Our priority intervention, therefore, is to make fertilizer, good quality seed, and other agricultural inputs affordable and available. For the short rains, we have already made arrangements to make 1.4 million bags of fertilizer available at Kenya shillings 3,500 for a 50 kilogram bag, down from the current 6,500. This fertilizer will be available from next week. I appeal to county governments in eastern, central, and western regions where we are expecting short rains to work with us in making sure that this fertilizer is available to all farmers in that region so that we can begin the journey to increase our food production initiatives. Additionally, to cushion tea farmers, we have made arrangements with KTDA to immediately supply tea farmers with fertilizer at 3,500 shillings, down from Kenya shillings 5,600. This is our initial intervention. We will be doing more in the medium term and in the long term. We are alive to the challenges of drought that face 7 counties, which are now at alarm, or 13 that are at alert stage, respectively. We are determined to ensure that no county slips into emergency phase, and will coordinate with county governments, which are the first line of our response. And I want to ask my colleagues, governors from Kenya, and especially those regions, to work with us in this endeavor. We are mobilizing resources to reverse this situation. Our goal is not just to provide relief and recovery to restore the situation, but to invest and unblock the huge economic potential of rangelands that constitute 2/3 of our country. Jobs, ladies and gentlemen, is our other priority. It is time for us to stem the tide of youth unemployment. Every year, 800,000 young people join the workforce, and over 600,000 of them do not find opportunities for productive work. Moreover, our young people in cities and towns face very hostile environments, many times treated as a nuisance and their hassles criminalized. Those who seek to set up formal businesses are faced with a bureaucratic monster that is multiple licenses. Our immediate agenda is to create a favorable business and enterprise environment, decriminalize livelihoods, and support people in the informal sector to organize themselves into stable, viable, and credit-worthy business entities. This is the essence of the bottom-up economic model, which creates a path for traders and entrepreneurs to build linkages, experience safety, and enjoy security as they go about their enterprises. We will work with county governments to create frameworks that provide secure trading places in our cities and in our towns. We have committed specifically in the city of Nairobi to work with the county government of Nairobi to build an additional 20 markets in the city of Nairobi alone, as we work with other counties to achieve their plans. Is to shift the Credit Reference Bureau framework from its current practice of arbitrary, punitive, all-or-nothing blacklisting of borrowers, which denies borrowers credit. We will work with credit reference bureaus on a new system of credit score rating that provides borrowers with an opportunity to manage their credit worthiness. This will eliminate the culture of blacklisting. In our engagements, traders also complain about the onerous burden involved in cash transactions exceeding 1 million. Many have reverted to storing money under their mattresses at great risk, which is clearly not the intention of the anti-money laundering regulations. While we remain fully committed to mitigating this risk, we believe that there is scope to make compliance. Sorry, again. Very good. While we remain fully committed to mitigating this risk, we believe there is scope to make compliance less burdensome on genuine business transactions. I have been assured by the central bank that work is ongoing on how to ease this burden without compromising the security of our financial system. Shortly, I will be announcing to the country what we have agreed with the central bank so that Kenyans can go ahead and facilitate their transactions without unnecessary impediments. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall implement the Hustler Fund, dedicated to the capitalization of micro, small, and medium enterprises through chamas, SACCOs, and cooperatives to make credit available on affordable terms that do not require unnecessary collateral. To implement all these interventions, we shall establish a Ministry of Cooperatives and SME Development mandated to ensure that every small business has secure property rights, access to finance, and a supportive regulatory framework. Furthermore, to deal with the huge challenge of youth unemployment, we will roll out our social and affordable low-cost housing program, targeting an average of 250,000 units every year. This will create opportunities in the entire job market. We will engage TVET institutions to provide necessary skills to enable the Jua Kali industry supply standardized products for our housing program. We will leverage on our competitive advantage in the leather and textile industry to roll out our labor-intensive agro-processing industrialization program. This will start in Naivasha Industrial Park and Dongo Kundu Industrial Park. This afternoon, I will be issuing instructions for clearing of goods and other attendant operational issues to revert to the Port of Mombasa, as I made a commitment to Kenyans. This will restore thousands of jobs in the city of Mombasa. Ladies and gentlemen, we must stabilize our public finances. This year, we will spend 60% of our revenues to service our debt. We are faced with Kenya shillings 60 billion in pending bills for goods and services supplied to government. Clearly, we are living beyond our means. This situation must be corrected. I am aware that many individuals, families, and their businesses have been driven to ruin and forced to shut down over government unpaid bills. We shall give priority to the expeditious resolution of our pending bills so that the government can meet its obligation and facilitate better economic performance. In the coming weeks, we shall SMEs will go a long way in broadening our tax bracket. We will make KRA more professional, efficient, responsive, and people-friendly. I urge taxpayers to respond by undertaking their patriotic duty and pay their taxes. In furtherance to this, oversight institutions such as the Auditor General and the Controller of Budget will be adequately funded to execute their mandates. On the matter of gender parity, I am committed to the two-thirds gender rule as enshrined in our Constitution. We will work with Parliament to fast-track various legislative proposals and establish a framework that will resolve this matter expeditiously, as I promised in our manifesto. The participation of women in our governance does not make us lesser, it makes us greater. And their role can no longer be nominal, it must be substantive. Ladies and gentlemen, our health agenda is premised on fundamental reform in the way health is financed and provided. We shall reform the National Insurance Fund to make it a social health insurance provider, improve procurement of medical supplies, deploy an integrated, state-of-the-art health information system, and most importantly, provide adequate human resources at all levels. People's income. There is a robust conversation, ladies and gentlemen, in the country on education, and in particular, the implementation of CBC curriculum. Public participation is critical in this matter. I will establish an education reform task force in the presidency, which will be launched in the coming weeks. It will collect views from all players in line with the constitutional demand of public participation, and we are particularly alive to the anxieties of parents on the twin transition of the last 844 class and the first CBC class in January next year. I assure all that there will be a solution to the matter before then. We have elevated our diaspora to the 48th county. The complaint has always been that the diaspora does not receive adequate attention and attention they deserve. The focus has been on remittances, while the fundamental rights as citizens have been neglected. To correct this oversight, I pledge to elevate diaspora to a ministry level, strengthen diaspora options. Ladies and gentlemen, devolution and sharing of power and resources is not just a national value, but a principle of governance in our Constitution, but it also is the ground jewel of our constitutional dispensation and the proudest achievement of the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Every part of our country has experienced the positive impact of this invaluable institution, and Kenyans yearn for better performance of all our devolved units. One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments. As Deputy President, I witnessed firsthand the tremendous potential of intergovernmental synergy and look forward to scaling up our capacity to harness these bountiful possibilities. Because of this realization, I have no hesitation in accelerating the transfer of outstanding functions to counties together with the attendant resources. To promote budget efficiency and minimize disruptions and delays in devolved service delivery, my administration commits to take necessary measures to secure the timely disbursement of revenues allocated to county governments. The success of devolution depends on sound intergovernmental relations. There is a template which incorporates lessons from successes as well as failures in past engagements, and we stand a stronger chance of making devolution work better. Kenya will continue, ladies and gentlemen, to be a dedicated partner to peace, security, and prosperity of East Africa region. We look forward to deepening our integration. We welcome our newest member, the DRC, whose entry now extends our region from the Indian Ocean to the Atlantic. Kenya is fully committed to the implementation of the East African Community Treaty and its protocols of free movement of people, goods, and services. Equally important is our commitment to the full actualization of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya will continue playing its role in international diplomacy at the bilateral and multilateral levels, appreciating that we are host to major international agencies, including the United Nations. I commit on the peace initiatives in our country, in our region, including both in Ethiopia and in the Great Lakes region. I have asked my elder brother, President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has done commendable engagement with those regions, and he has graciously agreed to continue chairing those discussions on behalf of the people of Kenya. I have committed that the government of Kenya, and myself in particular, will support those initiatives that will be chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I want to thank you, Your Excellency, for graciously agreeing to support us and to help me in those interventions. Among the central concerns of my government will be climate change. In our country, women and men, young people, farmers, workers, and local communities suffer the consequences of climate emergency. It is not too late to respond. To tackle this threat, we must act urgently to keep global heating levels below the 1.5 Celsius, help those in need, and end addiction to fossil fuels. Africa has the opportunity to lead the world. We have immense potential for renewable energy. Reducing costs of renewable energy technologies make this the most viable energy source. Kenya is on transition to clean energy that will support jobs, local economies, and sustainable industrialization. In Kenya, we will lead this endeavor by reaffirming our commitment to transition to 100% clean energy by 2030. We call on all our brothers and sisters in our continent to join us in this journey. As members of the international community, we shall support a successful climate summit in Africa in November by championing delivery of finance and technology needed for Africa to adapt to climate impacts, support those in need, and manage the transition. My administration is ready to work with global partners to fight pandemics and other health emergencies. We are also committed to promoting Kenya's vigilance and efficacy in responding to emerging public health challenges. We stand ready to play our role in the collective effort to keep the public safe. I call upon countries that have developed vaccines to make them available to us. Ladies and gentlemen, my government commits to create a business-friendly environment, eradicate barriers that hamper business development and growth, and make Kenya one of the most compelling and attractive business destinations. We are an open, democratic society founded on freedom and justice. We take pride in receiving visitors and offering them our legendary hospitality. Kenya is a land of immense natural beauty and unforgettable delights. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here on my day one as president. I make a commitment that in the days ahead, I will make pronouncements that are going to better define the trajectory of my administration. I promise to make every Kenyan proud and to ensure the economic well-being of all of us. Without exception, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being patient with us, and I want to commit that I will work hard for all the people of Kenya, irrespective of who or how they voted. I also promise to work with all the leaders, young and old, present, retired, and coming, so that we can build one nation and harness every talent, every effort, all energies in driving our republic forward. I make my commitment to all those who have served in government that their place in our nation will be secured. To our friends in our region, in Kenya, you have a reliable partner, and we look forward to building on the success of the leaders who came ahead of us. God bless you. God bless Kenya. May the very good Lord bless all of us. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Tusimame sote kwa wimbo wa taifa. Niombe tutulie kwa wimbo wa taifa, na baada ya wimbo wa taifa nitaomba sote tubaki tumesketi kwenye dais.